Hi everyone. Today we're going to work on using variables inside of our C++ program. So first we're going to recap our Hello World program, and we're also going to cover our CMake list logic. So in our Hello World program, which currently isn't here, let me just write it real quick. We had something that looked like this. Hello World. Standard L return 0. So what we have, gotta spell that right. There we go. Obviously, these little red squigglies mean you did something wrong. You can see it says it is undefined. So that means I spelt it wrong. All right, anyway, when you first start out, there will be certain keywords like integer or int, which stands for integer, return, the fact that curly braces mean something, and semicolons, and all that fun stuff. All of that comes with C++ for free. Then when you actually want to work with things like displaying things out on the console, let's say you're making a Windows program that actually uses Windows rather than the console. You don't necessarily need that capability. So anything that you want to add capability as, you include. In this case, this is an input-output stream. We're going to be outputting a stream of characters to the console. And that's what this Hello World does. Now, we can build it by hand. We've done this before with G++, and we type in the main.cpp, and it does the work for us. However, we want to be able to step through our code with debugging, and we want to do pick our compiler and do all these other fun things. So we're using CMake to help facilitate that. This is the code we have in CMake. The minimum version we're going to use is version 3 of CMake itself. The name of our project is variables, and one difference from the Hello World is rather than typing in hello or variables over and over, you can use $sign and then these curly braces, and this project name, this basically says use whatever this value is. So it'll use variables as the name of our executable. And main.cpp is the program itself. So let's run it once. It says hello world. Well, perfect. All right. We're ready now to start working with variables. We talked about int already. Int is for integer. Let's just create one called myInteger, and we'll set it equal to 3. Now, instead of saying hello world, let's display our myInteger on the screen. So this is a variable. This variable is an integer type, which means it can hold positive and negative numbers up to a certain size. We won't necessarily get into that right now, how big it can go. It's fairly large. It's probably the size of the numbers that you're going to be using. And then we say it equals 3, or positive 3, I guess, to be more specific. Let's run this. Click on terminal, because I actually clicked debug instead of just play, but you can see it outputted 3. If I just run it, it will show us 3. So there we go. We're able to display numbers on the screen. Now, besides displaying numbers, or integers, I should say, you might want to display things that have decimal places. You'll probably want to use double for that, which means double precision floating number. And so I'll just say my decimal, and we can put in here something like 1.234. Now, if we put that in, you'll notice every line ends with a semicolon. I guess I didn't specifically say that in the last video. I'm sorry. Hopefully you got that worked out, and maybe I'll repost that video just for clarification on that. So if you watch that video and I clarify that, I went and I clarified it just for you guys. If we run this again, now we see 1.234. Great. let's talk a little bit about strings. Strings are not built in by default either because for some reason they assumed you might not want them. I guess. I don't know the logic behind that, but if you include string, now we have the ability to use strings. Not sting. No B's are involved. String. There we go. Now we can do a string of alphanumeric characters. However, if you just type in string like we were doing before, you'll notice that it doesn't like that. This is part of the standard library as well. So you need to put in standard string, and we'll put my string equals hey there. And now if we run it, it says hey there. You also can do a combination of these. Let's say you want to say hey there, and then the number 3. We can put in my integer. You use these little chevrons, these little less than signs, to concatenate strings together. Hey there 3. All right, so there we go. We have displayed on the screen using variables. I hope that you found this video educational, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.